played such a big role in getting Nightblood this win.
I think that's the nature of this composition too for the side of Nightblood Gaming. It's so hard to really have great corner clearings when you don't have a fade. It's so slow with the drones, so I'm expecting right now there's going to be a lot of flashes, like double flashes from both the Omen and the KO to really get the real support and value out of Nightblood Gaming on the attack side here first. But Legacy kicking things off, looking to go for some sort of a trap. You have probably a C set up right now from Jonah, Paranoia too. So off that contact, you're going to try to catch some people off guard and Muddy to close that gap. So Nightblood Gaming seems to understand that a little bit on that side too, because of this head-to-head that they had last time against each other for the Fun Havers competition. So walking up middle where Blast is about to blast one out.
Already not a spot where he's normally stuck here in the beginning of the game. Normally he's permanently posted on A main, but the micro adjustment over to mid link has already sent Nightblood packing. Muddy gonna start fishing away, and he's found Kumi to start things out. Nightblood gonna try and re-up early, and they have spotted that duelist on top of Jonah, but it's still a double trade away as Carr gets Elim too. So Tim now stuck in this sandwich, able to also get away with one, and Nightblood Gaming continue crawling their way onto this site.
It's like we still have the waylay across all of board in terms of how these duels were so muddy. No, a lot of people got caught off guard, but a 2v2 watching the flank. Beautiful. Well done towards the end. If anything, though, as much as I like to say that it was muddy, it was still quite nice that whenever you had one player that was kind of left out in the open, especially Jonah at the very beginning when he went for that double walk down, at least he was able to take one down before he fell. So it came down to great trading and spacing done by NBG and by Legacy towards the end, especially at this moment right here, when you kind of left your Omen left first stranding on the side of Nightblood Gaming, but there were still two players ready to swing from the bottom of the middle to just try to run back up on that side on B. It was nice that NBG was able to move into that B side for the plant. But if not for Legacy, they tempoed very quickly after the initial engagement towards that long B, so that double flank was perfect on that end. So Legacy scores on that pistol. You still have the same type of setup here as they had on that pistol side for Legacy, although Waylay's not really moving up here to help out, but the C's comes in early. There's that Paranoia, and here's about to come the swing.
Muddy goes huge on top of that stack, and it is that one and done type play that Legacy needs to wrap this kind of round up. Again, a tremendous understanding of the speed that this map, that you have to negotiate with it at every point. And I think Muddy just has such a tremendous understanding of how to push properly with Waylay when so many North American players have been struggling with it. Just truly understanding how to disjoint fights. And again, make sure that every Legacy Kingdom member is able to play and guarantee themselves one. Nightblood once again gonna try and make a little bit of action happen at B main here. Funnily enough, they were doing the exact opposite in their LAN final, really pressuring A to start. But that's where Blast got so much connection, and this time Carr's gonna be able to punish it. Muddy attempting to trade, and he does on the double! Frax back out just in case, gives them a little extra legwork to do here as they make their way over to B site that Nightblood once again has walked on into, but Jonah's facilitating it. He's just backing away after the smokes guarantee every other choke. Once again, Muddy, the first point of contact as Legacy goes for it again, and Jonah's given himself away with the Prowler. With the Saturate, though, Screwface can't hold that initial pressure, and now the convergent pads have already been activated. Muddy feeling that confident to cut into this fight. Tim holding close on top of this smoke to be able to try and, again, inch closer on, and he does onto Smiley. It's got to be now that Nightblood Gaming activates their own crunch, and Kumi has to be the one to do it all from main. 2 for him so far, but not able to get the gun back up as that spike gets held. And Muddy gets 4 this round as Legacy takes away the bonus.
That was very nice from Legacy towards the end. You saw here at the very beginning that Jonah kind of got hit by the knife, but they were trying to do a similar type of conditioning that they potentially wanted to go for a trap play again towards that front B side. And that flash Waylay aggression continues to shine on that side of the defense. Look at that. Immediate pick onto Noted. Remember,
look at the prio as well. He hits the one that's not flashed for just insane attention.
Exactly. And it comes down to that, the buff that you had from the Waylay most previously, where the weapon could come out a lot faster. So you are able definitely to get great value out of what Muddy has. And already proccing with the ult with all of these kills, that just allowed to close the gap here for Legacy to convert their bonus.
It's another thing that makes Muddy such a different kind of Waylay is the way he's able to utilize that convergent paths, and he's just so good when he's lined in. any mid presence Nightblood tries to boast, it's either this toxic screen or this waylay that is striking such a dent into it. It's once again B that Nightblood has to fully lean on, and that Legacy has to fully re-clear. But with far worse guns, Nightblood try to condense and make sure that none of this extra util finds its mark. The second Prowler will find it. Blast extending forward for 2, and that is guaranteed. 4-0 for Legacy. So far, so clean.
And again, and this is what happened on that previous round too. Jonah is doing such a good job just to make sure that he doesn't want to force any fights. His teammate already got run down, being corrupt here by that push from NBG. And what he does, play back towards the spawn. Because you already had Blast watching over that B link side. So just make sure that you wait for your teammates for the fast rotate. Because actually, I say fast rotate, but the rotate's so long on this map. So the fact that he stays alive to leverage Prowler's maximum utility so that Legacy could just flood in as a team continues to be quite good here from what I'm seeing on the defensive side for the side of Legacy. That's it for NBG. It was an eco. They got the plant down. And it looks like they want to slow down the tempo a little bit more. The fact that they want to try to push the way that they didn't really work out. So you're leveraging now Son of Car on an operator, trying to find some sort of opening here and hopefully an overextension over on this A side. And when that doesn't happen, then you should be able to drone up to continue to clear up towards the lanes here, force Son of Car to get good value for the team, and then work the mid round.
See Screwface also getting away with a little bit of a mid punish there. Some Odin shots he's already letting fly. He was doing that a lot here in Philadelphia.
Be right back.
Legacy no doubt prepped for it. They're already leaning off of mid again. And Muddy so close inside this smoke, ready with that refract. The second one member of Nightblood pokes his head out. Screw it, let's just go in now. Whole stack's here, and now the null command has to be popped. Tim immediately finds Smiley. That's not necessarily the right body to find first, but the rest of Legacy, again, already here for it, thanks to Blast holding mid the whole way through. Still, Kumi could force a snake. Get this bag, stab up. With Blast staunchly watching, and that's the moment to reactivate. But Legacy, they'll just flower back out onto the connector and hit the inside. But Screwface now with those Odin shots. That external pressure finally ringing through, and Nightblood getting at least a little bit of space. But Screw has been isolated on top of this spike, and the entire stack has come to meet him! Tough!
Oh! What a save coming out from Screwface. I was just going to say NBG tried to pop into the A site, but we're so slow to get that smoked out to block out the A connector that Legacy was just able to run it down. But then right after that, when Screwface just spamming with the Odin, you had great utility coming out from Legacy that slowed down the crunch coming in from the left side for that second hit. But they were so slow to try to take down Screwface while he was on the reload. And then he ends up just mowing everybody down. I mean, yeah, look at that. You had perfect information at this spot. And then, unfortunately, you still couldn't convert into... Yeah, you gave so much space towards the end after you denied the first hit.
Just continuously getting the drop. And Screwface luckily able to do that this time with the Odin. Now with the Hunter's Fury in play, you can, again, afford a little more of a mid-stack. Maybe force Corrupt to start playing on top of his screen a little bit more. A good start to get this attack a little mobilized. But still, you're seeing Legacy understand, again, how to just play this map so sequentially. Force clear after clear after clear. Smiley's util has unfortunately not made it majorly onto site. It's got to be just purely for the entries. And even still, with the ability of Tim to TP away, with the ability of Muddy to play, you know, non-committal, Blast able to also have these checkpoints. Doesn't really matter if you get that full drop on one. Legacy can spring the trap again.
Take flight.
Calling the early timeout as well from NBG after winning the round, so they do want to cook something up with this util.
Cover going out.
Okay. A thought from Blast.
Oh.
One twinned by Kumi, and now another excuse to throw a convergent pass away at the rest of Nightblood that's pushed in. Still Note holding an opening corner, able to deny at least that first tip of the spear. And the Hunter's Fury can clear the board for the rest of the retake onto the entry. Jonah now with his own Odin, though, is causing a bit of a ruckus, and Screwface daring to duel him. He's simply better with it. Tim, though, puts a button on that car, having to hold down the final corner, and it's inches that Nightblood takes the second round.
Oh, that wasn't Carr, that was his son. That won that 1v1. Dude, what a nice little opener towards the beginning, though, from Nightblood Gaming. Although there was a nice little stall coming through, and that's where, unfortunately, we kind of really didn't dot our I's and cross our T's. Buddy just started running forward as soon as he pops out the ult, and never really checked the corners where there was somebody just out in the open, just under the shed, before he even got hit by the ult. It was just a free kill. It allowed here Nightblood Gaming to get so much space towards the end, and you're seeing those pings coming through of how they're calling out Nightblood Gaming, how they scale up towards that site when they go for these hits. And this is now, unfortunately, another... Oh, okay, well, hold on. Let's hold that thought. There's action here.
A little reckless, but it allows Tim to get a better spray, and he'll grab 2 on top. Now, Note having to throw out the ult after the metal doesn't finalize the kill, and Tim is able to get out. Legacy can slow this down, and Nightblood are forced to get Note to try and get a kill. He's just barely going to have time. Instead, Tim just farms a 4th. And Nightblood Gaming is even more restricted on top of this B site that they've just had to continue to double down on. And so you work with what you've got. These multi-tools, Screwface's Odin doing a lot, but Corrupt the drop down! Superman killing Screwface! Kumi the only one remaining on top of this spike, and with no way left to reposition the time, the players, they're all closing in. And so are the opportunities to be able to continue mining away and striking gold on this B site.
What better way to, like, drop down with that kill than the airplane, right? Bucket on top of that. That was just pristine coming out from Legacy. And just clean shots coming through from hero plays out the elbow push on the defense. If it wasn't for that, I think that was definitely another round coming in for NBG on that pulse plan. Yeah, even though there's a little bit of a mistake there, I think that's a good read that you currently see from Buddy, understanding these type of hits with the controller, with what the Omen could do here when you're trying to double dash into the site or trying to get good map control into the site with Kumi and Son of Kar. So nice answer back on that end, but they have to fix this part right here. The amount of times that we're trying to push for an aggressive angle in that area for the side of Legacy, they're getting instantly punished. And because of that, they're adding more players within this round. And I love this pivot coming through from NBG. Conditioning these picks and how much success they're getting towards this B side. They're now going for an A side split.
Yeah, a great read on how heavy the stack is committed here, and the trademark is not going to slow them down too much. Son of Kar with the Blade Storm is going to get inside. That Snake Bite will do a whole lot more work, though, in slowing them down. Elbow is unoccupied momentarily here. Now by the Viper's pick, and Kar's just going to try and fall into it, but he needs the Omen instead of the Viper. And NBG is up a creek without a paddle inside this trap that Corrupt is now going to be able to fully spring himself. Tim now in as well, and Legacy can crunch it all over again. The only one left is Screwface, and he's just got to give himself away. Legacy continue the train here on Corrode.
Yeah, and the respect given by Legacy as well to even ult into the elbow when you're rushing through in an anti-eco. You already had the good read. You had 3 players, especially with an Omen TP coming in from Tim to help out, but you just wanted to put that pit down. Just to deny the plant, deny the push, and making sure that you're keeping players alive on top of that, playing against the anti-eco. And you could still potentially start funneling even more ults. Jonas close or already has his. You also have Blast that could work on the econ side, which is much needed at this point. For Legacy to continue their run on the defensive side. They have yet to even pull out an operator. Actually, they did on that 3rd round here from Blast. But now they just want to fight with rifles. Out in the open.
And doubling back. Yeah, he sensed that he's not going to get enough out of the double smoke in the jet. Rather just go for the track. Tim now playing really preventative on this link, and the Nightfall is going to be used because of it. Tim just daring to hold it down, spraying through until more is used on him, and he still gets away with one on Kar! Now the rest of Legacy once again here to play. Muddy all the way up in B main still, but NBG can clear him out. And the damage control is enough.
Spike planted.
Might be a save for the last 2 players here. They don't have too much to work with unless Corrupt goes nuclear from heaven.
Seems like we're just going to wait for these to dissipate.
Drop in a smoke.
But you can just cycle it back on top. So it's got to be Blast. Nothing.
That's the thing. I wanted to commend Jonah on the defensive line of how he used his util to try to stall this pincer maneuver that NBG was trying to do here towards his B site. He goes for the Nightfall, gets so much information on the ping for 3 players coming in from the B connector. But after that, goes for the Prowler, and it immediately spots a player in the front while the other one was droning. So they've already identified 2 players in the front of that B site, and it was going to be a 5-player hit. What was missing a little bit more there was a double swing to make sure that we could fight for control towards that B main. I think he tried to go back maybe to help out into the B side link push first, and unfortunately that just left 3 players on an island on different fights instead of trying to go for a 2v2 and just sacrifice your players inside the B site. And that allows your NBG to convert that round. Now you see Tour de Force coming out here from Blast, holding it out towards the A side, and he's holding a much more passive line this time around so he could TP within the site. So the other ones are going to try to activate a little bit more. Look at this walk down you currently have from Corrupt, the support you have from Jonah after you threw out the haunt. So they still have a pretty decent position in the very beginning, and making sure here that they're going to play some sort of a long range in the mid round because everything has been so quiet for NBG.
Yeah. Owl Drone is going to be the first real signal flare tossed up, but Corrupt just intercepts all of it, and he didn't even toss his bite on it?
He walked through a DK. I'm not too sure what happened there. This happened off screen, and a 3rd kill off screen as well. Not looking good here for NBG.
Yeah, Jonah, feel free to use those prowlers on top of whoever's there and just walk into the Tour de Force. I gotta say, for both sides, really, this is such a different Corrode than what we saw like 48 hours ago. Like, I'm very impressed by how deep the playbooks have extended since then.
Spike planted.
But Legacy, the collapses are just immaculate here. And everyone individually is so available to manage for themselves on such a higher level than I think we saw previously in this stage and even beforehand when these guys were fun havers. Just some real evolution coming out from these guys, and definitely getting to play together in person, I'm sure helped. I got to talk to Muddy in particular, and the team was talking about how he is completely quiet in like challenger matches like this, but during that LAN, he was so vocal, so mean, and it showed in the scoreboard. He was absolutely electric. So I'm seeing, yeah, that identity really come into shape here for Legacy. And this game, I'm really impressed by them just flaunting it.
Especially when they had a slow start on that first week with the loss to Blue Otter, and you're kind of going up and down with the quality of opponents that you're having. You're still not finding good successes. But thankfully here, a rematch battle against NBG. Again, they've met each other in this series before, just a couple of days ago. So there is some sort of lean of understanding how, you know, Blast is currently playing on this chamber, because if you're looking at it, he's always playing towards this A side for the first 10 rounds and make that even 11 rounds now, and they want to try to punish that a little bit more. There's good control and stalls coming out from the Viper util that Corrupt has to support him.
It's another null command for the Arch. Legacy just content with holding everything apart from Elbow until that's expired. Nightblood attempting to extend into the back hall with the help of the smoke. It will fish out some util, but everybody's kicking. Blast finally giving away on the boxes. His Nightblood Gaming will now extend towards the connector. Seems like Son of Car really wants to punish Muddy early on his entry, and the Saturate will maybe not let him do that. He's caught by Jonah midair. Rest of Nightblood again has to trade back. Insane flash to let them in, but Tim able to find that Screwface with this Ares. Now trying to poke in, gives him the kill to let that Hunter's Fury fly. Play prevented it, and it forces Corrupt into the fray. Tim on top of two though, and now Screwface on a mad dash back to the spike. Behind the block. Oh, it's messy, and Tim is low. Has barely enough time to kill, but not to defuse. And Nightblood Gaming will make it work.
Another one of those scenarios where you wish the smoke wasn't covering yourself. So you could actually hear the footsteps. You force the player to come through and shoot so you could actually jump back in and get the pick. That was so unlucky and unfortunate on how they were deciding to play that retake on the side of Legacy. But it's once again Screwface saving that round. I was going to call GG from the very beginning already because how they executed towards that site. Screwface was already outside of the A towards that spawn, leveraging the Hunter's Fury as a final nail in the coffin for that hit. But it looks so doable towards the end when Tim went nuclear on that retake on that side.
Yeah, setup definitely there though for NBG after they took their time here. Able to make this a 7-5 game. It's Jonah with company, releasing the smoke. now setting up their own to deter NBG's entry, and Buddy's gonna try and take advantage. One with the Judge, and Legacy extends from it. Jonah with 2. But NBG is entirely here, and the team fight will still go their way with even footing personnel-wise. Blast now forced to try to either find an optimized angle to backstab with this op or walk far enough into mid to get a new gun to take this new 2v2. Meanwhile, Corrupt has basically nothing on this B site. Only the bite's going to be available, and by the time he gets there, NBG is going to be in.
And Screwface has full util too. So the knife clears out the site. Wants to go for the plant. He could stay within and start droning to find information. But this is a great call for NBG. They've already identified who was pushing down towards middle, so it was an open B site.
Blast is unchecked at the moment, but both members of NBG in very good positions. Unless you open yourself up, Smiley not covered. And Screwface found, flashing himself in. And that was probably a little bit of an easier cleanup than YFP expected, but it is one that they will certainly take. Legacy now up 8-4.
And when you talked about only a snake bite on Corrupt, lands right at the feet of Smiley, and then gets full vulnerable and forces Smiley to make a play, and then unfortunately just died to the op there from Blast. Again, great value off the dashes from Muddy on this Waylay. And looks like he just sacrificed himself so the rest of the team could just swing out and fight towards the end. But at least we're able to salvage 4 rounds on the side of NBG, because this was looking very one-sided from the get-go on the side of Legacy. Now we have to see here what this double controller, the double bubble on the side of NBG could bring here on the defensive line, because you're not going to be able to get the best in terms of information for the side of NBG, maybe with the knife, but actually it's more on that stall. There's no Senti on that side too. You're playing solo KO on that B site. What can you really do?
Yeah. Even still, Smiley will toss the knife early and confirm that all 5 members of Legacy are here on B main, so NBG will hightail it to mid here so they can expand before Legacy does. Still though, a lot of space held in T, and they'll use it to stretch their legs a little bit again. Force NBG to just play slow down and yeah, just force us back to the neutral game.
Not too sure if Corrupt was able to hear the footsteps coming through towards that B lane, but just with that, pulled the whole rotate towards that side. And then the pivot back from Legacy, I mean, what is going on? You still have Tim inside spawn. So just waiting to see what they can do here. They're going for the double pump, the fake towards the B side, and you're going to commit towards an A side hit.
And refract right back. Saw if NBG could collapse on top of it. It's all to get Corrupt in. He's watching it. Kumi doesn't land. He's somehow in. And NBG and Legacy duel in mid after all, on the way back over to this A site that Legacy is planting on. Kills go both ways, though. Smiley's on literally 1 HP, unfortunately, so Corrupt should have a pretty, easy time with this. Still, again, the holds are there, and NBG playing continuously patient, gets Jonah for it, turns this to a 2v3. Smoke to keep Muddy away, and another one in the tank here for Kumi. They're already ahead of the one that Tim set up, and the peek goes a little awry. Still Screwface caught early, and that forces Kumi a little even more forward. Another pistol taken by Legacy, now on the attack.
We're definitely cooking on that side for Legacy. The double pump fake, but if there was some sort of walk down that was a little bit more aggressive from Nightblood Gaming, that would have been GG already for the side of Legacy attempting to get the plant towards that A site. If it wasn't for how slow we walked down, afraid here to get caught off rotates, especially with a knife, saw like passive information, because they only pinged, I think, one player after the full execute in the very beginning. They should have kind of known that NBG kind of started to pull back from that B side, and you didn't try to push down and cut the rotate, and then you allowed here Legacy to really set up for the mid fight with 3 players swinging through. Well, looks like we're going to try to walk down here. There's not really any big flashes to try to help out. Smiley's all the way back towards B, so you can't pop flash through the smoke to allow the push down and surprise some players across. So Everybody's just gonna walk and try to find some individual duels.
Yeah, purely playing for dry contact, and Corrupt hands it to him, but still escapes with one, and is gonna try and double up. Actually, gets there too. Again, like single-handedly dealing with so many of these threats, and the rest of Legacy, their job is so much easier, exponentially so.
Just a Valorant moment though, or an unValorant moment. He was running the whole time, backing up to get that first pick with the Sheriff. Dances inside the smoke, reloads while he dances, still gets the second kill, and then gets the third at the back of the site.
Oh, well,
that's
now
crazy.
Note pulling off some pretty crazy shots now himself, and yeah, enough is there.
It makes sense. It almost looks like he had a chance for the side of Noted, but you still had 3 players inside the site.
Of course,
If
yeah.
anything, you have to commend on to how we couldn't really punish Corrupt with the value that he got on this lurk into the A main. He's walking through the smoke. The first contact and the first shot should have happened from the defender side, especially with the crossfire setup here. But unfortunately, he gets a trip kill out of that.
Well, I mean, Onus is on NBG for this round for sure to show any breadth of dominance. Because again, the firepower is what gets him there. Kumi on this Omen roll, again, a little unconventional for normally what he's been posted on his Senti. And he's fully flushed out. Lot used in his way, though. Screwface able to intercept the Odin and also catches Muddy from behind on the box, way ahead of him. And he's going to spray down on a Corrupt as well. IGL fragging out here on Corrode. And the rest of NBG can follow suit. Clean as can be for a bonus, losing 2 along the way, and on the way to some pretty valuable ultis to be able to intercept more consistently, with Kumi able to TP in 1 orb. You can keep Legacy guessing a little more on how confidently they can take fights, maybe force them to play with T even longer than they did in round 2.
If anything, I'm liking that Screwface is getting maximum value with this Odin on this map. I think when the map first came out, everyone was talking about, oh man, everything's wall bangable, wall bangable, wall bangable. I barely saw any of it during the VCTs. And now Screwface is showing that he could wall bang into the A site, wall bang through the shed at B towards the B connector. And hopefully more players are going to start picking that up because he's definitely showing it. By the way, Icebox is also a very good map for the Odin that not many players use, but we'll keep that for a different podcast if we have a tech pause. That said, though, back into this round, we do have the rifle round for Legacy still, and it just makes sense what you're doing working around the map. I think you're just staying towards the extremities. You could still get some good orb control so that Muddy could get the ult. I think that should be the game plan coming out from this end. While Blast is just looking for the solo play here for the duel on the top and middle.
Thinking about poking his head out. Right as Son of Car will. Oh, Blast turns to it? Okay, Note's at least able to nip it in the bud, but it forces him to stay at A link, so... Legacy actually feel confident enough to walk in on top of this smoke? Or are they just gonna fully stack into it? Yeah, they will, and the dry contact allows Note 2 more beautiful kills. Corrupt gonna set up this Viper's Pit to try to take back over A site, but again, Nightblood is here early. Kumi already outstretched to elbow, and NBG prepared for this retake.
Have good util for it too. Paranoia, 2 flashes. Very hard to stay inside the pit here for YFP. Oh, sorry, YFP. For Legacy. I saw Corrupt getting a kill there.
Yeah. And he's able to stay alive just long enough to get one more with the help of the pit, but Screwface, once again, all on him. Jonah has nothing left though. Haunted 5. Smoke on top of the Smike again. First tap. Jonah will just wait for the haunt. Screw sprays it down, taps that spike again, gets it to half. Jonah can count. Screwface holding until Jonah stops it. Spooky round again, but Legacy's 2 out from making this map theirs.
Screwface is just going to randomly wallbang on that A connector as well, which would have been huge for him to be able to clutch out a round once again for NBG. Smart play, though. He's definitely been very scary with the Odin towards this A site that he would expect that his opponents would think that he just tapped. But sticking on to that spike, Jonah just goes for the gamble to swing in, wins that fight. And now this is going to get quite interesting because both teams kind of have a broken bye here. But Legacy definitely with the amount of rounds that they have ahead. Oh my God, okay, hold on, I'm going to shut up. Here's some action.
Another dry swing. And Note, again, comes out with 2 for some reason. Gonna go for the swing again. Yeah, huge flash. Almost nets him another. But instead, he's the one driven down. Now, actually, they're gonna try and get the hammer in there. Nightfall catches 2.
Well, that's gonna get nullified though, because they're not committing into that one. Because you spotted 2, you're gonna work around the map, trying to see if somebody's aggressively pushing, and Kumi's definitely doing that with only a Sheriff. Although not about to get watched. Jonah should get... Oh, never mind.
Oh! Basically wasn't.
Basically wasn't.
Panic mode for Legacy now a bit. Blast luckily able to get that spike back. Kumi's not going to hold it by himself. Needs to keep this 4v2.
That's the thing. Everybody's going to have to go for hero plays here for the side of Legacy.
Left.
Separated across the map. You're trying to finish together here towards this B site. Ult's not being used.
Yeah, a corrupt found and blast already known, so you should have a nice double up here. Good conservation, good trust in teammates from Note there to just not use that not dead yet. 5-round gap, very feasible now on the defense here for Nightblood. They're able to pick up guns, have a cycle, and you're seeing again, a lot of the tools that they're able to use to play their own sort of blocky style that Legacy has to keep shaking off. It's getting them pretty far.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention before the action started, it was a big round that was needed here for the side of Nightblood Gaming because both teams are really low on econ. Legacy, thankfully, has so many rounds ahead that they could they could actually lose a round and be okay in the long run. But NBG now has a much better buy going to round number 18.
1-by-1.
One of the most forward convergent paths we've seen from Muddy, and it's on a pretty empty site. Not much intel gained off of that light speed either, so see if Legacy can make something work. Not looking like it though. Pretty standardized here by NBG.
Yeah. I was expecting for them to continue to commit inside here to try to get value out of that ult. But as he scans in and sees nobody, there is not really nobody that can really follow behind. So I would have liked for the full committal when you're on an eco here.
Right, yeah, why not, you know? Yeah, a little bit too pressured.
Closing the gap.
Yeah, it's already starting to get a little uncomfortable. And by the looks of it, it doesn't seem like Legacy can really try to play any new channels at the moment. Their mid presence has had to play solely off of the toxic screen. Otherwise, they kind of have to swing fights back over to A main if they want to play off of it properly. And I mean, the aggression that a defensive side can have on B main is so unreadable in the first couple seconds that it seems like Legacy don't even want to take that risk right now. Too heavy.
Yeah, they're trying to find early information right now for the side
paranoia.
It's yeah, exactly. It's paranoia recon just to get early info and already insert noted. But that doesn't really do anything. They don't have too much left. They have at least map control. But I'd love for them to try to funnel them into the op, but the op's actually positioned here towards this A side instead. So Legacy could still scale up here and fight for a middle.
Yeah, I mean, Jonah's free to use as much util as he wants just to play keep away with this presence, but it's so heavy that Legacy, again, I feel they can just head to that weaker site. Car on this op, facing off against Blast, jump peek, doesn't hit, and the paranoia at a crunch. Now or never. And the Hunter's Fury able to do some good damage along the way. Jonah found. But the rest of the team is pressured. Son of Car still standing with the shorty shot in hand. Almost dancing into Blast. But the 3v3 is kept. Sight is Legacy's. NBG on the run back. Still, though, some tough guns to work with. Exactly. Blast having to commit to that sight line and then corrupt on the judge.
Still doable because they forced the plant inside that site. They were afraid of a flank towards the A side. So Screwface with a dart, Noted with the ult. This could be huge for the retake.
Corrupt again, holding close on top of the smoke. Tim is the one to get the rest of the spray, though. And does it all.
Oh, no.
No. Somehow kicking. That's 2. Hold up, smoking himself again! Spray down Tim!
Oh.
And those are the type of clutches that Noah was getting away with on this team on the previous map. The kind of pop-offs he was having then. No doubt a confidence booster this late in the game.
Why are we forcing ourselves, though, to try to take down the person that ulted? You had beautiful judge kills. You got a nice trip kill on top of that. And now you're running through the smoke. The first one going through is the one through the smoke. That gives a free kill for Noted. You leave Corrupt out on an island because the smoke dissipated. And then you're left on a 1v1 where Tim, I mean, he's been really good. He's already dropping 21 as well. But you're asking a lot here for that side where you could have fallen back, set up your crossfire, force him to tap, something like that.
Again,
That might be the round here that allows NBG to tie up the game.
yeah, with the lesser guns, Legacy are going to try and just cut deep early on through the elbow, but Link is still so easy for NBG to hold on to. You got to make deep cuts, and Jonah, that's one with the Sheriff. Pop back in, and Tim is dealt with that. One more in the tank. Let's do the same with Jonah. Force him to back away. And recognizing that the last two players may be here, he's going to try and outstretch with this Outlaw. Back into the Sheriff, sees the 1v1 and hightails it over to B.
A minute left, too. I mean, all of this time allows for him to reload all of his bullets, too. And look at Smiley. He's one-shottable from a Sheriff in the chest, one-shottable from an Outlaw, and then after this plant, you get an ult. So you have good value right after it if you want to use it right away.
Already right on top of it. One shot decides it. The momentum of this game. And Jonah's the one to find it. Game point here for Legacy on their map pick. And funnily enough, NBG beat them on Sunday here, 13-8.
And that's just redemption coming through here for the side of Legacy, where they threw a 1 versus 3. Jonah is able to salvage that round himself. Look at that. Just finding the timings, re-swinging these moments, and just gambling that somebody's going to overextend and catches them every single time. Very, very nice. That stops the momentum here that was built up for the side of NBG, especially after that Noted clutch.
Yeah, big heart stopper. And blast,
Oof.
jump up. You really thought that was lined up, didn't you? But Car on the Blades shuts it down. And now we'll let the NBG stack wander back over to that weak B site, where Legacy are pounding on the door. Prowler out first for the Cubby. No doubt the second one to follow. Money for the inside of the shack, and the Nightfall a little bit late, to be honest. Money not able to find anything, but Corrupt running up mid here, trying to grab a second! How does he restabilize? And with the screen,
too.
fakes the re-up to mid, and he's caught Screwface too. Freely able to duck back into mid and play for the 2v1. And yet, he's just gonna do it again. Absolutely disgusting, and exactly what you wanted to see. It was the one blemish on Legacy's record against Nightblood when they previously played, and it has been completely repaired.